Oh, we on something else.
If I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant.
Let me.
Oh shit!
You said something that really triggered a thought, and I realized that you can't be happily single and happily married, or you can't be happily single and expect for that to transition to happily married. Because when you're happily single, you're selfish. You're only caring about you. You only think about what your desires are. You don't have to consider nothing outside of you. So when you're happily single, you can't even seek marriage.
It's hard.
You can't even see if somebody is fit to be your actual spouse. So the problem is when you get to that point in your life, it could be 27, it could be 40, it could be 50. When you get to that point in your life, it's like, well, guess what? I am no longer happily single. Now I want and desire and need a marriage to feel fulfilled in my life. So it could be a time thing, but I just think it's a maturity thing.
But I think that that's different for people who want to date intentionally, because you can meet someone and you can like them, and then suddenly your whole perspective changed. Yeah, you were happily single and you were selfish and you didn't have to think about anybody, but you like this person and you're starting to love this person so much that you're changing your ideas. And yeah, you want to do this for this person and you're changing your ideas for this person. So it's a little different because your mindset does change when you start to love someone. And that's that genuine kind of like love transaction that'll get you from being happily single to being happily in a relationship.
But you know what happens and why most relationships fail? Because then you get to that point where there's obstacles. You get to that point where having a relationship is tough, it's hard, and it's work. And the first thing you think about is, I was happily single. I don't need to deal with this. I don't have to settle for this. And now that relationship and the work for that relationship now becomes beneath you because you trigger and think back to when you were happily alone. So you're never going to put your best foot forward in the roughest times. For people that think that a relationship, especially a marriage, is going to be peaches and cream, sunshines and rainbows, and no adversity.
That's a different conversation because when you're in a relationship, period, you always have
peanut gallery.
You do have to decide what's worth it and what's not, because not everyone is going to revert back to the idea of, oh yeah, I was happily single, so I can go right back to doing what I was doing before. Not everyone's going to say that. Is this person and the trials and tribulations and the obstacles worth what we have? Some people will agree that it is and keep forward. And some people would just be like, okay, fuck it. I'm not a relationship person, so I'm just going to go back to being happily single.
I heard somebody say, right? This is real. I heard somebody say, because they were dating somebody.
Who's this somebody?
I was about to say, are you talking
about
me?
it's real?
No.
Like, who are you talking about?
It's real,
Yeah,
but we don't know who the person is.
I ain't gonna put their name out there, but they were dating somebody for 1 year, and they were going through it for like the last, let's say, 2 months, right? Prior to, they said, I don't need to deal with this shit, right? This is real, right? Reality for most people. You get to that 1 year mark, and you start having issues. You start thinking, if I'm having issues at 9 months or 10 months, I'm gonna have issues for the rest of my life. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
And the problem is, you go like a relationship, that relationship within 1 year period is still fresh enough where you can remember all the fun you had when you were single, all the trips you took without any issues, all the times you had girls trips and there was nobody saying, nah, I don't want you to go. I don't feel comfortable with you going X, Y, and Z. You can think back so close.
Yeah.
It's damn near like
It's recent.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, so the problem is like when you are, and I think happily single is really what I'm focused on, is because I'm not saying people who are single and, you know, actively looking for a relationship or just chilling, but you're embracing being single. You have pride being single. It's hard for you to turn that switch off because literally you go from being a flying eagle and then your wings get clipped a little bit and now you're just walking around like a chicken. Right?
Yeah. And now we ate you.
Yeah.
You at the Popeyes.
And you mad at the person that clipped your wing.
Happily
I'm
single.
be honest. Go ahead.
Happily single comes off as I'm super independent, and this is like my way of saying, oh, it's just me. It's just about me. It's just about me. And if that's what you want, then a relationship may not even be for you.
At that point,
Yeah.
I think once you get to that point,
I said you make the decision to decide whether the relationship is worth it, and you continue to fight for it and move on.
no,
with the
but he's
relationship.
saying,
or you're just relationships aren't for me.
but that's not what he's saying.
I know,
He's
but
saying you
that's
don't
what
even
I